Ding, 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 ding.
Can you just hide them from your Zoom? I think it's just in Zoom. Shit, now I've lost it.
Ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. It's me, Misha.
Does it work?
It's Robbie. Oh, your brick a brac. It's Robbie. It's Robbie.
Shall we just go for it?
I don't know what to suggest. Let's just leave it then and go in like as normal. Like just Zoom, Robin and Misha singing the song. And then for love letters, I'll have to share my screen again, but it'll just be slow and we'll just deal with it. Sweet. Yeah.
Brick A BRAC is back again. Season 2 is far from an end. We welcome you back with some pie. Topsy-turvy crumble with a very special guy. Welcome everybody back to BRIC A BRAC Abundance Season 2. Robin, how are you feeling about this season?
I'm so excited. I think it's the best one yet.
Yeah, me too. We've been working really, really hard in the studio. We've been meeting up, socially distanced, obviously apart, and we've been sorting out some incredible things for you. And today, what have we got, Robin? We're making some cottage pie, is it?
Not cottage pie, Misha. It's crumble. Apple crumble for autumn.
Apple crumble for autumn. And who's going to do that? It's your friend, isn't it? Tell us a bit about him.
Very special guest called Kit Delamain. He's an upcoming chef, talented writer, all around amazing good egg. So we've got a very, very special treat to learn how to make crumble from him.
He's going to teach us, and you're going to ask him some questions, right? He's going to share his smile with us. And we've even got, what have we got? Who have you been videoing? Tom, what's he going to tell us about?
We're going to talk about surplus food waste. We're going to have a little look and see how other people feel about food and what special food means to them. What does it mean to you, Misha? What does food mean to you?
What does it mean to me? Food, well, food actually causes me a lot of anxiety.
Oh.
Yeah, food is a big pain in my life. It's been a comfort for me. It's been like my mother, like my friend. So food has been really close to me, but also caused me a lot of pain continually. So food is a tricky one for me. But I've also, what does food mean to you?
Yeah, I think I've definitely had a different relationship with food as well. I've learned to love it because of not always loving it. So I definitely have shared that relationship with food before. It's a powerful thing. It isn't just about nourishment. It can be a torment as well, but it's also shared by loads of people. And it travels with people as well, wherever they go. So that's something that I think is really amazing about it.
Yeah, and talking about travel, I traveled down to the Old Abbey Tap House not long ago on Monday night, and there was this wonderful event happening from the Under My Wings orphanage, and I've had a video with a man called Imran, and we videoed him, so we've got some footage for that later, and we've got our love letters, and we've got everything, so we are ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. So on that note, we will go into meeting our guest.
Hey, Kit.
Hello.
Hi, Kit.
How's it going?
Really, really good. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's lovely to be here. I'm not bad at all. The world seems a bit crazy at the moment, but in times of adversity, there's always crumble. So that's something.
I would love that on a t-shirt. In times of adversity, there is always crumble. I think that's fantastic.
Keep calm and crumble. Not
Keep
crumble
calm
in
and
that
crumble.
sense. Chill meaning there.
Yeah, completely. And it's autumn, so I'm like, this dish kind of came to all of our minds, not only because of the season that we were kind of coming into, but it's really relevant. It's seasonal right now, which is really nice, and it kind of gets all of us into, I'm kind of getting ready for autumn a little bit. I'm getting ready to accept it coming, and what a better way than to welcome us into it with warm crumble.
Massive crumble.
Exactly.
I've got my apple ready, actually. I'm going to be making some crumble now, hopefully. So looking forward to it.
So we are going to have Misha live joining us following your instructions as well, which will be great, and hopefully many others as well that are watching, because we did drop off apples all over Manchester to various different people, and you included. So the apples that anyone has got are the ones that Kit's using today.
Not exactly the same. That would be some feat of mad science, but
yes. Oh yes.
Similar variety, no doubt.
From the same tree, nonetheless, though. So they're from the same
Fantastic.
apple family.
They don't fall far, do they?
No, they don't. Before we go away with your tutorial, I'm just going to ask you one question, because I've asked it for a few people. And what does food mean to you?
What does food mean to me? It's an interesting question. It plays so many different roles in my life that I don't, it's kind of like, what is music? But I think if I was going to answer it the same way, I think food, as with a lot of things, should be taken as it first appears to you. It kind of withers under the lights if you look at sort of the calorific content. I know that's a big part of a lot of people's lives. Looking at where it's come from, looking at a lot of the sort of foundational layers of what food actually is, makes it a bit heavy. But if you take food for what it is, which is something that someone's hopefully made for you, source of nourishment, something that probably tastes and smells pretty good, then it's just that. It's love. It's love.
That's such a nice answer. I think you're right. It is quite similar to the music question of there's food for all occasions. Like you could definitely associate one meal with coming home from school and being soaking wet, and associate like there's that one smell and taste just completely for that moment as well. And I want to speak about your cookery, book and ideas a little bit after, maybe when the crumble's kind of like baking away a little bit. But I know that we're a little bit delayed in our show, so I'm going to hand over to you. So yeah, we'll see you very soon.
Okay, well, you're gonna say goodbye to my face just now. I've got you set up in a little clip so you can see what I'm doing. So here I have an apple. This apple I'm going to start peeling. This is, I would say, optional, but I really like my apples peeled. It's like with potatoes as well. You can sort of leave them unpeeled in a lot of recipes, but the skin is the good part. Obviously, it's the part that you should be eating. It's full of roughage and all those bits, but frankly, in a crumble, I don't really like that part. But this is the complicated part. This is the bit that takes a bit longer than all the other parts and probably should be done by an adult. The entire preparation of this apple. So, got one peeled apple here. This is just how I prepare apples for crumble. So you want to core it. So first off, just going to cut it down the middle, and then cut that one down the middle, And then to make getting this part out a bit easier, I'd make a cut just at the top here like this first. Remember, this is a sharp knife, so be careful. And then you just go down and sort of scoop. So you go up and around, and you can see you've got most of the core out there. Scoop out a bit more, easy. And then just cut into sort of bite-sized chunks. You've got to remember that the bigger the chunks are, the longer they'll take to cook. So if you cut them into smaller pieces now, then your crumble will come out a bit sort of softer, slightly nicer consistency by the time it comes out of the oven. This is definitely the most laborious part of the job, but you can do this with all sorts of fruits or whatever. An obvious pairing is blackberry and apple, but the blackberry season is, I wouldn't say well behind us, but it'd certainly be hard stretch to find any good blackberries at the moment. But the key thing, if you are adding any other fruit at this point, is to make sure that it's all the same size. Sorry, can you? Yeah, you can just about see all my apple there. So let's get this last bit done. But yeah, some other good fruits to go with. I'd say rhubarb is a really nice one. It adds a tartness, so you need to counterbalance that with a bit of sugar, whichever sugar you like, really. I put peach in here before. It's anything really. The day that you're going to make crumble, go into whichever supermarket and pick up a pack of reduced fruit, and you will find something that is taste apparent. And even if you didn't know it was good, you'll Blue Peter Maniac. Here's some I prepared earlier. Quick tip, cutting up loads of apples for a crumble takes time, and over that time apples turn brown in response to oxygen. So get half a lemon, squeeze it over, and then they'll keep their colour and they won't come out all brown. You'll then get a nice sort of appley colour, whatever that colour is, underneath when you're done. Here is my crumble tin. You don't need to do much for a crumble tin. It will stick to the sides, but that's part of the fun. You get the nice crunchy bits around the side, but I'm going to stick all of these apples in here. The size of the tin doesn't really matter. The only thing you've got to think about is the top part, because clearly this is where the sort of size of this here is how much crumble you're going to need. The crumble will sort of go down around the sides, but that is a good fit, a good fill. I'd say that's probably about 10 apples, 8 to 10 apples that I got kindly delivered to me via the surplus mission. Here, let me wipe my fingers off. Right, let's get on to the good part, the crumble. So there are 3 parts to a crumble that you need to think about. 3 and only 3, and they're very easy ingredients to come across. And all of these can be substituted. So we have got butter, we've got granulated sugar, and we've got plain flour. Now, there are substitutions you can make. You can use gluten-free flour, you can use vegan butter, but I don't like to cut corners when it comes to crumble. It's so delicious with the heart attack inducing ingredients that I'm using at the moment. But I do use full fat butter because, you know what, it's a little treat. So I will now show you the order in which we do this. So measured out here, there is a ratio that you need to remember for crumble, and you can use it for whatever size dish you're using. But essentially, it's double the amount of flour to the amount of sugar and butter that you use. So here I've got 8 ounces of flour, and then corresponding to that, I've got 4 ounces of butter, 8 ounces of flour, 4 ounces of butter, and 4 ounces of sugar. You can, if you've got a slightly smaller dish or you've got slightly fewer people eating, use 6 ounces of flour to 3 ounces of butter to 3 ounces of sugar, and down and down and down and down. I will leave you to work out the maths for that one, but this tends to do quite a good size one. Oh my goodness, I've really let this butter set quite hard, but it's fine, we'll work it down. So the aim of the game here is essentially to work the butter and flour together till they resemble breadcrumbs. This is a very good job for small hands. So potentially while an adult is sorting out the apples and coring and peeling all of them, basically the boring jobs, then This is a very good one for children to do. It's certainly something that I've been doing for years and years and years. In fact, it was my great aunt that taught me this recipe all those years ago. I remember staying with her in Sussex and going and picking the apples from her little orchard and going and probably stealing blackberries. I don't think it's strictly legal. Well, scrumping, I think is the word you use. But finding blackberries and then coming home and making a delicious crumble. And what could say autumn more than a crumble after a delicious meal? This butter is really firm. You do want cold butter. It will hold its shape together better, and it means that you get a slightly crumblier texture. Slightly shorter, I think, is the adjective that's used. But essentially, you're just sort of pushing this together until you've got a breadcrumb-like consistency, which we are managing to get to here, but it is taking a bit of effort. Goodness gracious. There we go. But you just sort of want to scrunch it together with your hands, just keep going, work it together. It will heat up and warm up eventually. And then when you got your breadcrumb-like consistency, you can move on with the rest of it. There is a debate as to what sugar you can use. In a lot of recipes, it says caster sugar. I use granulated because I like a really crunchy crumble. If you use caster, you'd have a slightly cakier crumble. And by that, I mean, it would be a bit more like one solid kind of lump that you sort of break through in pieces. Whereas the crumble I'm going after spills all over the place, looks like a complete mess on the plate, but is texturally superior, I'd say, to any other kind. Also, we're not there yet, but I'm just sort of trying to fill time while I break down this frozen butter. After we've added the sugar, there are then all manner of things you can add to a crumble. It is essentially just a canvas for your imagination / cupboard to go wild. You can add any spices, you can add any additions, you can add anything that you like to the crumble, but some pretty standard ones are nuts, toasted nuts. Oats are a big one. Spice wise, you can add ginger, cinnamon, mixed spice. I mean, if you wanted to, you could add sort of chocolate chips, you could add cocoa powder, you could add all manner of things to make the crumble just to your taste. And that's essentially what it should be. It's how you like it. But once you've got the first crumble down, and once you've made your first crumble, that's when you sort of can go wild, because you know how it should look, what it should sort of be like. Right, so we're getting there. Tip, when you get to the stage where you think you've got to breadcrumbs, give the bowl a shake and all of the biggest lumps will come to the top. Grab said lumps, squeeze them together, and then they should no longer be lumps. Hopefully, maybe, potentially. Right, how are we doing? I think we're almost there, you know? Yeah. Let's give that another little shake down. To be honest, some slightly larger lumps of butter aren't the end of the world. It just means you have slightly biscuitier texture. You really can't go wrong with this stage, which is why I say it's good for children. You can't overwork it. You can sort of underwork it, but that's just a matter of time and patience. But it's such a therapeutic thing to do this. I mean, I can make crumble all day, every day. As you can see, it's now just about there. We've got some slightly larger lumps, but we'll, for the sake of pace, keep going. Dirty hands are all the name of the game. So to this, we are now adding our granulated sugar. In she goes with a floured mitt. Stir that through. And then we have got, okay, so that there is crumble. This is a canvas which I was talking about. Now I'm going to add what I would like to this crumble. I say it's what I would like because it is completely personal. I like a cinnamony crumble, so I'm going to add at least 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I like a spicy crumble, hence the mixed spice. Again, probably about a slightly less generous teaspoon of that. Then I'm going to add some ginger because that's not really coming out. There we go. a good portion of ginger. I had some flaked almonds. So you know what, they're going in as well. Slightly, I would call them toasted, but by the colour you might see that they've gone slightly beyond toasting. Cremated, I think would probably be a better adjective for those. So as you can see, just stirring this around with my fingers. And lo and behold, we have what is commonly referred to as a crumble. Right, so let's just finish on the bottom layer now. To get the juices running, particularly for berry-based fruit crumbles, you will want to add a bit of sugar just to the bottom. And I mean a very, very small amount. It's just a sprinkling. This gets the juices running on the fruit underneath, which means that you then end up with a slightly, I don't know, slightly almost soupier underneath, rather than just thick bits of fruit underneath, which personally aren't my cup of tea or slice of crumble, depending on which you like to use. Right, done. You can spoon it on, but where's the fun in that? If you heap this in the middle, it makes it a bit easier just to push out to the sides. So that's all in the middle. Let's push this out. So you want to get this all the way into the edges. This will stop all the juice running up and over and making the rest of the crumble moist. You want to, well, depending on whether you like a nice crunchy crumble, you want to just push down the edges slightly. Not all of it, because if you compress the whole lot, it'll end up like a big biscuit on top, which well, it's called crumble for a reason, not biscuit. But if you do it around the edges, that just stops the juices running up quite so much. I'm making a right mess, but you know what, that's fine. It shows that you're having fun in the kitchen. Right, that is that just about pushed down. And I think that just about concludes our crumble tutorial. I probably need to go wash my hands now / put this in the oven. In terms of cooking temperatures, we're talking between 170 and 180 degrees for around 30 to 40 minutes. It does completely depend on oven / personal preference. It's really just until the top starts going golden. If it starts going golden really quickly, then just get some foil out and put some foil over the top. But that will be because you have the oven turned up way too high. So just turn it down to, I'd say probably about 170 fan, 180 to 190 non-fan. I don't really know what the difference is, to be very honest. Yeah, that is essentially an apple crumble. Whichever variations you like to do are up to you. But as I say, you can just add the fruit at the fruit stage and add whatever additions you happen to want in the latter part of the crumble stage. There you go, one crumble.
Amazing, Kit. Like, that was so clear as well. And yeah, you're a really good talker. I like hearing about your auntie, and that's where you learned from the recipe from, and the spice in it as well. Because I like cinnamon, but I never actually thought of using allspice, even though I know it's a combination of like lots of different things. So
all of it. You can't go wrong. Fruit and spice and everything nice.
Exactly, especially for coldness as well. Well, while you go and put that in the oven, I am going to let everybody know just quickly about what's coming up next. We're going to go whizzing away to the magical garden, where Tom is going to talk to us a little bit about what surplus is. So over to Tom.
My head hurts.
Kate, your mic's on.
be, I can't wait to know. Believe me, I'll always be there, so I know I love you. I find it hard to see how you feel about me, 'cause I don't understand you. Oh, you are yet to learn how to speak. When we first met, I will never forget, 'cause even though I didn't know you yet, we were bound together then and forever, and I could never let you go. Baby, I can't wait to know. What do you think about things? Believe me, I will always be there, so you can tell me anything and I'll listen. There isn't anywhere that I would rather be. Three birds of a feather. I just hope you enjoy our company. It's been some time and though hard to define, as if the stars have started to align. We are bound together now and forever, and I will never let you go. Believe me, I will always be there, so you can tell me anything and I'll listen. I might even know what to say, but either way, at least I'll be. Hey, baby, I can't wait to know. What do you think about things? Believe me, I will always be there, so you can tell me anything and I'll listen.
Tastes like the start of a crumble.
A crumble? What's a crumble?
Apple crumble. It's the second language of love.
It's true. Passed down through ancient civilizations as the way that we share love to each other. Through this beautiful thing called the apple.
It's so juicy.
What is surplus?
Surplus is an interesting term. From us, it's a positive term. It means there's too much of something, you've created an abundance, you have some to spare. But it's interesting, surplus to other people, a negative thing. The supermarkets usually term it as wastage. We term it as surplus. So we take the supermarket waste, but it's not waste when they give it to us, it's surplus. I find that an interesting difference. Before we were doing the surplus scheme, the supermarkets had to throw it away and it would be waste, which is going down on their books. It has to cost to get rid of it, they're not selling it. But if they donate it and call it surplus, we as an organisation, using our charitable status, can go around and collect it, but then redistribute it. We can cook it, we can have it ourselves, we can give it to the community, and just making use of it, preserving it, but more getting it directly out there so the food isn't being wasted. We're just a grassroots organisation in Manchester, based in the middle of Plattfields Park with an allotment site, that are now rubbing shoulders with and dealing with Marks and Spencers and Aldi's and your Tesco's and your Co-ops and big supermarkets that don't have a plan for this. This has only started in the past 12 months really, that they've realised there are organisations like ourselves that will benefit and that will happily collect this surplus or the food off them. It seems amazing they've got to this point off after years and years that they've thrown it away. It's only now that we've realised that it's such value in the food. And this is something which terrifies us all. There's nothing wrong with it sometimes. A bag might be open. This is something which terrifies us all. There's nothing wrong with it sometimes. A bag might be open. There might be one bad lemon and the whole bag's gone off, or somebody's opened a packet and they can't might be open. There might be one bad lemon and the whole bag's gone off, or somebody's opened a packet and they can't sell it. And sometimes the reason we're getting it is hard to believe, really. And it's too much. Can't sell it. And sometimes the reason we're getting it is hard to believe, really. And it's too much of consumers as well wanting perfect vegetables or perfect fruits, so they won't even look at the wonky veg or the wonky fruits. That's a little part of it. It's getting better now, I suppose, with supermarkets accommodating for that. But I still think that the surplus is still a massive area that is lacking in investment, but also opportunity for other people to get involved. There's not many people that know about it or that can get involved in it. It's just through our position being food growers and actually knowing ourselves that if we grow something, we don't want to waste any of it. We have to use everything. The energy that's been put in to grow something has to be used in the end, whether it be eating something and getting the energy yourself. Plus another interesting part, a lot of the surplus food is short shelf life, so it's vegetables, it's bread, it's things that need to be turned around quickly or used quickly, where people like ourselves are experiencing gardeners and vegetables, it's easy for us to cook and prepare, where for other people they'd look at it and don't see a meal in it. It's interesting now that we have a cafe and a cooking side that we can take and in front of volunteers take the surplus food from the morning, turn it into a breakfast or a meal for everyone that we can all share that hasn't cost anything. It's just been a nice challenge of having an assortment of different fruit, veg, and how you can put it together as a meal for everyone and then share it.
Perfect, that's surplus. Sharing. Thank you.
Not.
We're going now.
I'm not ready yet. Food means to me. Food means to me having a nice chat with decent people and eating nutritious food.
Food means to me things that we can get from Mother Nature that the earth has given to us, which we can use as fuel to do the things that we can get from Mother Nature that the earth has given to us, which we can use as fuel to do the amazing creative things that we do every day. Food means that we do every day.
Food means Food means to me family and enjoyment.
Food means to me, community. Food means to me, community and sharing and groups of people all enjoying the same thing.
Hello, welcome back to Love Letters. I've missed you. I love you. Today's episode is all about food and cooking. I love food. I love apple crumble, and we're going to be making apple crumble, which is actually really exciting because that is my favourite food: breakfast, lunch and dinner. Breakfast, dinner, tea, depends where you're from. I don't mind, I'm not here to judge. First off, here's a love letter that someone sent in. It's very sweet and heartwarming.
Love letter to Millie. Dear Matilda, your smile is like a sun, shine through your lips and warms the heart of your loved ones. I am counting the moments to see you and hug you again. Soon is 2 years anniversary of our friendship, and more than ever I am joyful. Lots of love.
Gosh, that was nice, wasn't it? Next, here's a kind of modern love note. It's possible too.
Really moo. I passed my test.
It does exist, love in the modern age. This next one though, it's more about growing older. From distinguished Manchester poet, it's a real treat.
A love letter to my grey hairs. Like 3 tiny spears hacking branches in a forest. Like strings pulled skyward by invisible kites. Like cracks in a mirror or sponge sugar nesting. Only when I stop trying to pardon your existence, stop moulding my tongue into tolerable syllables, do you become something I would hate to leave the house without. Love, Amy.
And lastly, as if you haven't had enough love already today, you lucky lot, here's a love letter to coronavirus.
That may seem strange. I am in fact inundated myself with germs right now. But it's good to see love where you can. Find love where you can. Here we go.
Missy. She's a killer. She's a bad girl. No, she's not a bad girl. She's a good girl that's bad at being good. She's a stone-cold assassin with a huge personality and global influence. She's controlling. She's mean. She makes me come home before 10. She doesn't like me hanging out with more than 5 of my friends. She wants to murder me and my family. Is it wrong to live a... Is it wrong to love a killer? Do we even have a choice when it comes to matters of love? Yes, and so I must confess I do not love you, O virus, in the traditional way. I want to avoid you for the rest of my life. We could never work. It's not me, it's you. But I forgive you. And that is a kind of love, is it not? I want to let you go, to say goodbye, and as soon as that vaccine is available, you'll be out of my life forever. But I forgive you all the same. I love you because you didn't mean to do what you've done. We all deserve some kindness. Maybe those who deserve love the least need it the most. Love, S.
So, I hope you've loved today's episode of Love Letters as much as I have, and indeed the whole episode of BRIC A BRAC Abundance. If you would like to send in a love letter that you've recorded, email us at baba@naya.digital or send us a message on Facebook. Or if you want to receive a love letter, let me know. I'll be back on my bike soon as I'll get it over to you.
Me and Kit. Kit. To be fair, you know, we are running a little over, so I do only have two questions for you. Or I'll say small. Okay. Hello and welcome back. That was an amazing love letter episode. I really enjoyed seeing people's poems and love letters that they recorded into us, and trying to figure for coronavirus is an interesting option. And welcome back, Kit. I'm sure your kitchen is smelling amazing with your crumble bubbling away in the background. I wish I had smell-o-vision because that'd be really nice.
Snap top.
Sometimes, only on certain things, yeah. Wouldn't want to watch Braveheart with smell-o-vision. I can listen. Go on.
Certainly not.
Right. So because of our time pressure and stuff, I've just got 2 questions that I've picked to ask you. When I say food power, what does that mean to you?
Food power.
Or the power of food.
The power of food. Wow. It strikes me as a great leveler, food. It's something that everyone has to do. Be you the president of a certain country or somebody's sitting in the street. I think in it being a leveler, it is something that everyone has to do, and no one can deny that it's appreciation can be taken out of it, whether it's it's of a certain taste, and you can put money or huge amounts of effort into food, but at the end of the day, everyone needs to eat. And if you put bread and some water in front of a starving monarch and a starving normal person, they would both eat the same meal. And I think in it making us all equally human, food is one of the very few things that can unite us in our shared humanity in a way that a lot of other things bring in social status, economic status, culture, whatever, to a greater extent. So I'd say food is the one thing that reduces us to our base humanity in a way that very few things can.
Wow, and what a powerful thing to make everybody, no matter where you come from and what other powers that you have, to put everyone on the same level. And you're right, it is a fundamental human need, no matter where we're from, even if others are cooking for it. So thank you, that was a great answer. And you've got some really interesting projects going on. I know that you do a lot of writing for many different things, and of course you're a third-year uni student like myself as well, so we're going to be doing a lot of other writing for other things also. And I know that you're compiling your own amazing collection of your own recipes, which is incredibly impressive, and we'd love to share more information on that as well. But going still on the emotional side of things slightly, as my last question for you is, do you cook differently for yourself than you do for other people?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I am perhaps too clinical in my cooking than doing something badly really ruins my day, if not my week, which it shouldn't do. But I think the effect is amplified when it's for other people. Even though I don't think I've served food to a single person, they've picked apart my penne for being a bit too al dente. Generally, people are quite happy with a meal put in front of them. But I think I'm more self-critical of myself when cooking for others than when cooking for myself, in which it is basically just experimenting. But I've realized that in the past year or so. So I will save the meals for myself, or the slightly more risky meals for myself as opposed to other people. I've got one this week that I'm doing, which I didn't want to offer to the rest of my house, because I'm a bit nervous as to how it's going to go. But if it goes well, it could be a new one. It could be not a groundbreaker.
It's an original recipe.
I think if I did some looking, I could probably find something that was very similar. But yeah, original in that I haven't looked in a recipe book for it. But we'll see. As with all these things, and even if it doesn't turn out perfect, it still tastes pretty good. So
And sometimes making the mistakes in cooking is how a lot of the cooking started.
Also very true.
Think about tea as well. Like about some leaves falling into hot water and someone going, "Oh, this is
amazing."
Yeah, exactly. So, like I was saying, it's there are certain things that baffle you at how they were discoveed as as something that came into our life, but a lot of other things have.
Well, even something like crumble. I was literally just thinking, as in that brief little interlude, crumble's genius. All you're doing is trapping all the steam coming off apples, so all the apples cook. Then between the fruit part and the top, you then got this bit of crumble, which then basically turns into biscuit. So you've got like the top edge exposed to all the heat, so that turns into like biscuit, and then you've got the sides of the container exposed to heat, which then makes the apples already steam. The steam will get like kept in, which then cooks the apple. Genius. I don't know if people think about this to quite the same degree, but I love it.
And yeah, like I said, and it has a purpose as well. Sometimes they aren't always accidents. Like there's amazing different like meals and recipes that have such love. We will be sharing all of Kit's promotional stuff. He's got an amazing Instagram that he posts the most delicious food on, and where you'll be discovering any kind of new information and recipes from him. And yeah, I'm just going to see if Misha's about, because we lost her somewhere. Misha?
I'm here.
Oh.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that stuff with us, man. I'm
No
really
worries.
excited to make an apple crumble. I didn't feel like I had all the time in the world to do it now, but I'm going to do it at the weekend, and I'm going to post it. And I just want to say, if anybody's actually made apple crumble at home, send a picture in or a video of you eating it or sharing it with your friends, and we want to see the
make me enormously happy.
Yeah.
Do you want a quick progress report on this one? I can just quickly grab it from the oven and get it out one sec.
Absolutely.
Try not to burn my hands off.
Are you going to make a crumble, Robin?
I think so. I still have a lot of apples left over from all the apple picking, so I think I'm going to have to make. Ooh!
Wow!
You can see it sort of cracking in places. It's starting to brown a bit. Luckily, not too much leakage around the edges.
Nice.
It's coming together.
That looks fantastic.
I will, of course, upload some slightly more senior pictures.
Wow. Send us a piece. I live in Wally Range.
And yeah, definitely.
Can you send us a piece? And I live in Wally Range. I'd love a bit of it.
Okay. I could fax some.
Yeah, fine. I
Send
think
it by Telegram if that works.
Photocopies have that down thing. I think that's the whole.
Well, I'll scan it. Maybe.
Well, brilliant. We're gonna, me and Kit are gonna just go back and eat some crumble now. So we're gonna leave Misha for 2 seconds. And thank you so much, Kit.
Cheers.
Thank you, Kit. So lovely to see you.
Guys, bye.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, people, humans, aliens, whoever you are, whatever you are. I went to the Old Abbey Tap House on Monday, and there was an event raising money for the project called the Under My Wings Orphanage. Now, I asked Imran, I videoed him. You'll see. Anyway, so here's the video now, and I hope that you enjoy it. Hello there, everybody from BRIC. Hello there, everybody from BRIC A BRAC Abundance. I'm here and I have a very special guest. I'm here with a wonderful man called Imran at his event today, which is called
Let's Join Afghani Culture Tonight.
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 Food means for me life. Food means for me part of culture. Food means for me, you can say, the beginning of everything. Because if you don't have food, you'll definitely die. So, actually, basically, food means the foundation of life. One of. I would say one of because there are so many. So yeah.
Wonderful. And can you tell us a little bit about this project that you're doing and what's going on here tonight and why you're doing it?
The project is called the Under My Wing Orphanage, which I'm going to build an orphanage in Afghanistan. And tonight we have organized a fundraising event which is called Let's Join Afghani Culture Tonight. Which was the demo was to bring Afghani culture for Britons so that they can come down with our culture that most of them they don't know. And I got suggestion from some British volunteers to make everything Afghani tonight. So that's why we put the name as well. Let's join Afghani culture tonight, and the foods are also three meal course, which is starters called bolani, the main course is called Kabuli rice. Are also three meal course, which is starters called bolani, the main course is called Kabuli rice with curry, and the dessert is gajar halwa.
And are these Afghani dishes?
These are Afghani dishes.
Right, okay, and are you from Afghanistan?
I'm from the world, man.
Right, okay.
What does food mean to you?
Spirit, like energy. If you put like, I don't know, community in it, food together. The best bit about living with Imran is that we'd have us all together every day, like for breakfast, for dinner, for tea. We make a big pile of like food, and we'd all sit around and talk and like, share from the same plate. So it just created such a sense of like belonging with people, community. I think it's something that we miss. Like, we're just walking around getting fast food. Yeah, not really giving time to digest food
Thanks, man. I was wondering if you know much about migration and how food travels from different places around the city and how that affects things.
There is a sour truth of the day that with migrations, which is kind of like forcefully, people are forced to migrate. I would love if it was if the food could travel without migration, like without forcefully migration. But as it's now, the situation of the world is very difficult. Like it's not peace in every country, and people just run away from war and different stuff. And it's unfortunately, I can say, food are traveling by forcefully migrations. But I think it's very good. Like the food, when it migrates, it makes friends. The food itself makes new friends. Yeah, when people always want to try something new, and when they meet something like a new culture, get new like the food. It's totally new for them. That definitely like they say, oh wow, amazing! I've never eaten such thing before. Like I'm sure many of them haven't eaten bolani before.
Yeah.
So I think it could just travel with the migrant.
Yes, when Montagna. Oh, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Ciao, Ciao. Mr. Pellerin, las in Montagna, sotto l'ombra di un bel.
I wonder what food means to you.
I think food is quite a great way to bring people together. So for me, it brings quite a lot of, I guess, shared history, shared memories, but also a way to share your own culture with other people. And I guess that's what we're doing here tonight. It's like not a lot of people, I guess, know about Afghanistan outside of the conflict and the wars and all of that. So I think we're trying to bring the good side of Afghanistan here tonight and share that with people that might not know about it. So yeah, for me, food is about sharing, really. I think I'd love for like creative people to get engaged with the project, because obviously I'm not from Afghanistan, so I'm leaving that part to Imran to deal with locals and all of that. So for me, I kind of wish the project will grow in Manchester, the UK, and like set up events and get creative involved to set up workshops that could then be transferred to Afghanistan when the orphanage is built, and yeah.
Anyone who wants to support us, don't support me, but just support the project, which you can find on Facebook. The page is called the Under My Wings Orphanage. You can also join our organization. For that, you can just contact. There's phone number on the page, and also there is message link which comes direct to us.
So do get in touch if you want to get involved.
Okay.
So I think
that was fantastic.
Series first season. What a show it's been. I want to play this piano. How are you feeling, Robin?
I'm feeling so happy. I'm so like impressed.
So I think
and
I think
sounds on the other side.
Oh, it's so funny being online on Zoom. It's like it's difficult.
But I feel so blown away and happy. We're so lucky to live in this place with loads of amazing things going on that we are blessed to invite people to share with us. I'm beaming, full of positivity.
I agree. And if there's anybody else, any events that are happening, anything that you want to share, anything that you want to be recorded, then let us know and we will come.
We will. We've got me and Misha and Millie and with extended BRIC A BRAC, family. We wanna record things and support all the creative and amazing things that are going on in Manchester. And speaking of which, do you know what we've got coming up for our next episode, Misha?
What have we got coming up? Are we going to make some more food? Are we going to make some cottage pie?
Wow. I mean, we're not completely dedicating to the food. It's always going to be a part of us in each episode. And I think welcoming people back to BRIC A BRAC with the crumble was the only way to do it, really. But tomorrow, next week, Wednesday, we've got a dance workshop going. Well, Tuesday at 6, you can join this workshop in person, PPE and all the safe measures. And then on Wednesday, we're going to show a huge collection of other dancers, as well as showing the workshop that took place. So how amazing is that? You could actually turn up for the workshop if you wanted next Tuesday.
And what if we could make a call out now and say, if anybody has a 1-minute clip of you dancing, then record you, video you dancing and send it in, and we will play that. We would love to get a whole array of 1-minute clips of all of you people dancing so that we can see how beautiful you are.
Absolutely. So please do that. We've got email addresses the same. It's baba@naya.digital. That's send it in, or we can come and film you. You message us and we're happy to come out as well. So let us know.
Wow. Well, I think that this has been a wonderful hour and a half, and I'm really grateful that we're doing this and season 2 is happening and that we've got all these ideas for the whole of the season. We've actually got it all planned out for you guys. We're like, it's totally totally vibing. It's totally vibing. And a massive secret surprise that we're going to reveal later on, I think. Maybe.
We might reveal it next week, actually.
next
A big secret for our end of season 2 finale, because we've got 6 episodes, 1 episode down, we've got 5 left. And for number 6, it's a big surprise.
A big one. All right, then. Well, on that note, we can sing us out.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Guess who's back? BRIC A BRAC, BRIC A BRAC. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? BRIC A BRAC, BRIC A BRAC is back. Guess who's back? BRIC A BRAC. Who's back? Who's back? All right. So see you next week. We love you all very much. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.